Why do others know your next move before you've even made it? Why does every conversation end with you exposed while they walk away untouched? Because you talk too much and listen too little. Today, we solve that. Every man wants to be understood. Every woman wants to be seen. They wear their hearts like a badge, believing that openness is strength. They talk. They confess. They explain who they are and what they believe, unaware that every sentence is a thread others can pull. The moment you speak, you place yourself in the hands of your listener. You believe you're sharing truth. But what you're truly offering is structure, something they can shape, twist, and use. You tell them your story, and in return, they gain the blueprint to control it. This is why the powerful remain quiet. Not silent, but disciplined. They never answer directly. They don't explain themselves unless there's an advantage in doing so. They understand something the common mind does not. At words are currency, and most people spend them like beggars. When you say less, you become less predictable, less defined, and humans fear what they cannot define. They fill in the silence with assumptions, and those assumptions come not from you, but from their own mind. Suddenly, you're not just unreadable, you become a canvas. They start projecting. They believe you're on their side. They think you understand them. They imagine you're harmless or powerful or noble, because they've never been given the truth to contradict it. You've said nothing. Yet you've made them speak volumes. And it's not just about staying quiet. It's about resisting the impulse to correct, to clarify, to defend. Let them misunderstand you. Let them create their version of you. The more certain they are, the more blind they become. In negotiations, the one who speaks first is often the one who folds first. In conflict, the one who justifies is already losing ground. In seduction, mystery is irresistible not because of what it hides, but because of what it makes the other person imagine. Control begins the moment you stop giving people your inner world, withhold your thoughts, and you force others to reveal theirs. Withhold your motives, and they scramble to explain your behavior through their own lens. In that confusion, you gain the upper hand, not by power, not by persuasion, but by sheer absence. You have told them nothing, and yet they begin to confess everything. They mistake silence for emptiness, for hesitation, for fear. They see a man who does not speak and assume he has nothing to say. But what they do not see, what they will never understand, is that silence is not the absence of power. It is the hiding place of it. The fool rushes to fill every pause. He fears the stillness between words. He stumbles over himself, trying to impress, to dominate, to reassure. He believes that power lies in volume. That presence must be loud. But true presence, real dominance, requires no noise at all. It is the man who sits still, who watches, who listens, who commands attention without effort. His silence provokes questions. His silence unsettles. When you choose not to speak, others begin to listen harder. Not to what you've said, but to what you might be thinking. Your silence creates a vacuum, and human nature cannot tolerate a vacuum. So they begin to guess. They begin to interpret. They talk more to compensate for your restraint. They reveal more. Their confidence fades while yours becomes mythic. You become unreadable, and what cannot be rid cannot be controlled. And here lies the genius of silence. It forces the opponent to show their hand first. While they ramble, you study. While they confess, you calculate. While they try to dominate the air, you dominate the space. You are no longer reacting, you are collecting, gathering intelligence with every word they spill. But silence requires control. It demands that you master your ego. It demands that you be immune to the discomfort of not being seen. Most people cannot bear to be misunderstood. They want to clarify, explain, justify, thinking that it will bring resolution or power. They don't see that every clarification dilutes their mystery. Every explanation is a rope handed to the other side. Say nothing, and you become dangerous. They don't know what you're planning. They don't know where you stand. They don't know whether you're an ally or a threat. That uncertainty is power. Fear does not come from what is known. It comes from what cannot be measured, what cannot be mapped. The silent man does not beg to be respected. He forces others to consider him carefully. Every glance, every pause, every refusal to respond becomes a mirror. And in that mirror, they see themselves, nervous, exposed, unsure. Deception does not always require lies. Sometimes it is crafted through carefully chosen truths, fragments, hints, a performance of transparency designed to make others lower their guard. The clever strategist knows this. People don't crave truth. They crave the feeling of truth. Give them that illusion, and they'll stop digging. You don't need to hide in the shadows to remain unreadable. On the contrary, you can stand in full light, speak openly, smile warmly, and still say absolutely nothing of value. This is the art to appear open while remaining impenetrable, to speak without revealing, to give the illusion of vulnerability while keeping your core guarded like a fortress. Most people confuse quantity with clarity. They think that saying more builds trust. They talk about their goals, their relationships, their failures. It all sounds authentic. It sounds raw. But a Machiavellian mind knows better. True manipulation begins when you let people think they understand you. Say enough to make them feel they've seen the full picture. Tell them a personal story, but one that goes nowhere. Admit a flaw, but one that flatters you. Be emotional, but only when it serves your purpose. Each word, each expression, each pause must be placed with intent, because once they believe you are honest, they stop questioning your silence. They stop pressing for more. They think they already know you. And once they think they know you, they begin to speak more freely. They reveal their doubts, their past mistakes, their future plans. All because you've created the illusion of shared openness. You've made them feel safe, understood, heard, but you have not returned the favor, not truly. You've only simulated it. This illusion is your shield. It lets you walk among them undetected. It buys you access, influence, power. They invite you into their inner circle, thinking you're harmless, trustworthy, genuine. They never consider that everything they believe about you is based on a structure you designed. And that is the beauty of it. You do not need to close every door. Just lock the right ones. Let them wander through the house you built for them. Let them see the rooms you've staged. Let them feel at home. But never show them the vault. Never let them touch the walls you keep closest. Let them believe you've revealed your secrets even while they remain buried. There is a pattern, easy to observe if you know how to watch. The one who dominates the conversation is often the one with the least control. He believes his voice is power. He believes his opinions, his stories, his endless details impress others. But in reality, every word he spills is a piece of armor he removes. Every sentence is a thread pulled from the fabric of his own strategy. People think the loudest voice commands the room. What they forget is that sound, unlike silence, cannot be taken back. Once spoken, words become weapons in someone else's hands. They can be twisted, stored, remembered, used. The person who talks too much is always building a case against himself. Slowly, carelessly, unknowingly. And what's worse, he does not notice. He is intoxicated by his own voice. He thinks he's winning. He thinks he's being understood. But every listener in the room is gathering, sorting, weighing, watching what makes him flinch, noting where his story doesn't match, seeing where his ego peaks and where his fear leaks through. The more he speaks, the more he reveals his alliances, his insecurities, his desires. His entire map unfolds in plain view. You will notice that the people who rise in power often speak last, or rarely. They do not rush to be heard because they are too busy absorbing everything being said. They let others fill the space. And in doing so, they make themselves the one person no one can fully read. The less you say, the harder it becomes for anyone to target you, imitate you, or anticipate you. There is a reason kings had jesters but never spoke like them. A reason generals let spies talk and soldiers shout, but held their own tongues for moments that truly mattered. To speak constantly is to bleed into the floor. To speak precisely is to strike with a blade. Watch closely in any group. The one who cannot stop talking is the easiest to understand, and therefore the easiest to defeat. He hides nothing, because he cannot help himself. He believes attention is dominance. But attention is a spotlight, and a spotlight makes you vulnerable. It traps you in the open, makes you predictable, and exposes your every move before you make it. Let them ramble. Let them monologue. Let them explain their worldview down to the tiniest opinion. In their noise, you will find the exact shape of their mind. You've been taught that clarity is virtue, that honesty is noble, that openness invites connection. But that is the doctrine of the ruled, not the ruler. Power is not taken by those who speak, but by those who withhold. When you reveal nothing, you control the narrative without ever writing a single word. When you remain silent, you force others to fill the void with their own confessions. When you appear open, but say little, you engineer trust without earning it. And when they speak without restraint, you map every corner of their mind while they see only your mask. This is not cruelty. It is not deceit. It is strategy, and those who fail to master it will always serve those who do. So remember this: say little, watch everything. Reveal nothing, and they will tell you everything.